بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. As you remember last week, I said we will discuss, inshallah, the concept of Tawfīq. Because it's a very important concept, so we don't continue with Mahajjatul Bayda. We reflect on concept of Tawfīq, and then inshallah we can resume. Tawfīq comes from wafaqa, wifaq. We have muwafiq, tawafuq. All come from the same root, waw, fa, and qaf. Wifaq means coming together, coming close to each other. Sometimes Tawfīq is used in the sense of reconciliation. If you manage to bring two people closer to each other, this is called Tawfīq. For example, in the Quran, we have this ayah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن يريدا إصلاحا يوفق الله بينهما. If there is a disagreement, dispute between, for example, husband and wife, they should ask, for example, maybe advice. Then sometimes they ask people from each side, one person to represent them and try to find reconciliation. If both parties in this case, like representative from this side and that side, if they really want to reconcile, if husband and wife, their representative, if there is sincerity, then inshallah Allah will solve the problem. Allah brings them together. There would be no separation or distance. We have another case in the Quran that also might mean the same. إن أردنا إلا إحسانا وتوفيقا. And here also maybe Tawfīq means bringing people together. Pardon? Yeah. But there is another meaning for Tawfīq. And that is Tawfīq in the sense of having all the requirements for success. When you want to achieve something, it's not just enough that you have such intention. I want to succeed. For example, I want to succeed in my study. I want to succeed in my business. I want to succeed in upbringing my children. It's not just enough that you really want this. So many other factors should be available so that you can succeed. Yeah? You want to make a mosque. You want to, go for ziyarah. You want to help poor people. Lots of things should come together. Tawfīq is when things come together and therefore you can achieve. You can have tawfiq for tawbah. There are people who don't have tawfiq for tawbah. Even if you teach them the best means and manners for tawbah, they will not get tawfiq. You know, like teaching, namaz al-Khufayla, salatul Khufayla, that some people, ask Imam, why you teach? I think it was Yazid or someone. And Imam said he would not have tawfiq to do it. Tawfiq for tawbah, tawfiq for salat on time, tawfiq for salatul Jama'ah. Sometimes you don't have tawfiq. Every time you want to go to salatul Jama'ah, something happens. Someone calls, your tire is flat. And maybe after many times you manage to go, then that day Imam is not coming. So, tawfiq is not always available. Tawfiq for a study. Many people want to study, but there is no tawfiq. Either no tawfiq to begin with, or there have been many cases who have actually embarked on learning, but then, for example, father dies, they have to go back and look after their brothers and sisters. There is no, teacher, there is no money, there is illness. Some people have gone, for example, to Qom, then they say, water of Qom is not good for you, or weather of Najaf is not good for you. So it happens. Sometimes it's not in your hand. So many problems can happen. So for everything good, we need lots of things to come together. Part of it is only in your hand. The rest is not in your hand. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should help us so that everything comes together. And no obstacle happens. This is why we read in the Quran, Surah Hud, chapter 11, verse 88. This is what Prophet Shuʿayb, ala nabiyina wa alayhi wa alayhi salam, said. قال يا قوم أرأيتم إن كنت على بينة من ربي ورزقني منه رزقا حسنا. My people, this is a very important point. I mentioned this in some sessions that we had summer last year on Tabligh, and also in some other meetings. Anyone remembers? Is the way the prophets addressed people. Ya Qawm. We said the prophets didn't partition people. They didn't say, those who believe in my message, they are my qawm. Those who don't believe in my message, they are not my qawm, my people, my nation. They consider all the nation to whom Allah has sent them as their people. It's very important. If you want to do tabligh somewhere, there can be believers and not believers. Pious people, sinful people. You cannot succeed unless you consider all of them as your people. Like a teacher. If you are sent somewhere to teach, can you say, these are very good students, they listen carefully, they take notes, they do their assignments, these are my students, those lazy ones and naughty ones are not my students. Can you say this? They say, sorry, you have to leave. If this is your mentality, you cannot succeed. If I am sent to a community and there are people who come to the masjid, there are people who don't come to masjid, or people even don't believe, I cannot say only those who come to masjid are my people, the rest are my enemies. Or I don't have any responsibility towards them. Ya qawm, my people. And very moving example is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is quoted as saying after Hamza Sayyid al-Shuhada was killed. You know, Sayyid al-Shuhada was titled for Hamza till Karbala. So he was killed. Many people were killed. Muslims lost the battle of Uhud. Rasulullah's teeth were broken. Yeah? What did he say? Allahumma hdi qawmi فإنهم لا يعلمون. Oh Allah, oh God, please guide my people. Did he refer to when he said my people, did he refer to Muslims? Or he meant everyone, but especially this dua is for those people, because it says, Allahumma hdi qawmi فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Please guide them. They don't know. First of all, he didn't curse them. He didn't say, oh Allah, kill my enemies. In two opposite language. You can say, kill my enemies. You can say, guide my people. In between is to be silent. He didn't curse them. He didn't keep silent. He prayed for them. But how he wanted to bring mercy of Allah on those people? By doing shafa'ah. He prayed for them and said, these are my people. It's like, for example, someone is going to attack someone. I said, these are my people. Don't attack them. These are my people. Yeah? Someone is to question and say, these are my people. You can leave them. I take care of them. Allahumma hdi qawmi. And then he finds excuse also for them. فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. They don't know. Question. Because this is a very important point, I cannot pass quickly. Question. These people that Rasulullah said they didn't know, how much they lacked knowledge? Were these people who had no clue about Prophet and Islam? This is the first day they had heard about Islam, or first year. These are the people from Mecca. They knew Rasulullah very well. They knew him and even his ancestors. They knew him and his whole family. They knew him 40 years before Islam as Amin. They knew him 13 years in Mecca. He preached 13 years. Now it's few years in Medina. Still he says they don't know enough. If me and you for few days or few weeks, preach to a people, and then we say it's useless. These people need to be left. But Rasulullah, pardon? We give up very quick. So Rasulullah is saying, no, these people still need time. And all those people who remained, they all became Muslims. If he had cursed them and they were killed, then they were lost. So this is very important. Shuʿayb alayhi salam says, Ya qawm, أرأيتم إن كنت على بينة من ربي وَرَزَقَنِي مِنْهُ رِزْقًا حَسَنًا. If Allah has given me clear signs and has given me good sustenance, what do you want to do? You want to deny it? You want to fight me? Because Allah has chosen me and given me this bayyanat and good sustenance. وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أُخَالِفَكُمْ إِلَى مَا أَنْهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ. I don't want to disagree with you by saying don't do these things. I don't want to cause division, separation. I want the best for you. إن أريد إلا الإصلاح ما استطعت. I don't have any intention. I don't want anything except reform, islah. I want to solve the problems. Mastata'at, as much as I can. Ma tawfiqi illa billah. Alayhi tawakkaltu wa ilayhi unib. My tawfiq, here is the ayah that tawfiq is used in the sense that we are discussing, not in the sense of reconciliation. This is the tawfiq that we were talking about last week, and we want to. Ma tawfiqi illa billah means my success by completion of all the conditions and requirements does not come except from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Illa billah. There is no other provider of tawfiq. You cannot buy tawfiq from black market. You cannot cheat. There is only one way to get tawfiq. Tawfiq is always original and comes from original supplier. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to be honest and know how to get it. Alayhi tawakkaltu wa ilayhi unib. Only in him I trust, and to him I return. So, if you want success, do your part, definitely. But do also try to get the rest through trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who can give you tawfiq. So tawfiq is for the part that Allah should help us, especially even in what you do, you need help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there are things that it's not in your hand. Other people, other factors should come together. There you need Allah even more. Yeah? You are committed to do something good. Okay, mashallah. But even this was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who guided you, who blessed you with this idea. But what about other things? The tawfiq. The late Shaykh Ṭūsī, rahmatullah alayh, when he refers to this ayah 88 of chapter Hud, chapter 11, he says, tawfiq is lutf. Those who remember, we had in Aqaid, in Baba Hadiyash, what is lutf? Grace, yeah. Do you remember the definition? For Shaykh Ṭūsī and theologians, there is a technical definition. What is lutf? ما يقرب إلى الطاعة ويبعد عن المعصية ولا يبلغ حد الإلجاء ولا حظ له في التمكين. These are 4 different aspects of lutf. Anything that makes you nearer to obedience and takes you far from disobedience, but would not force you for obedience. Okay? Because if it's forced, this is not lutf. You see, if you are forced to do ta'ah or not to do sin, it's not beneficial. Yeah? So, la yabluqu hadd al-ilja means it's not reaching the level of forcing. So anything that helps you, facilitates ta'ah, or makes sinning difficult, but it's not reaching the level of forcing you, وَلَا حَظَّ لَهُ فِي التَّمْكِينِ, and also it's not a condition for ta'ah. For example, health is not lutf, because I mean general health. For example, if I am not healthy to fast, fasting is not wajib for me. So health is a condition for wajib. So لا حظ له في التمكين. Anyway, in Kalam we discussed this. So Shaykh Ṭūsī rahmatullah alayhi is one of the ulama that has discussed a lot about qa'idiyya lutf. Even Nubuwwa is lutf, Imama is lutf, Imam Zaman is lutf. You remember we had this sentence, وجوده لطف وتصرفه لطف آخر وعدمه منا. This is in Sharh Tajreed. Khaji Nasiruddin Ṭūsī, not this Sheikh Ṭūsī, but Khaji Nasir also uses the same approach. He says existence of Imam Zaman is lutf, and if he is exercising his ibadah, it's an extra lutf. So in even his existence lutf, tasarrufuhu lutfun akhar, the second lutf. Wa adamuhu, if he doesn't do tasarruf, if he's not able to exercise publicly or obviously his imamah, minna, it's because of us, because we are not prepared. So Shaykh Ṭūsī discusses about lutf many times, even about ijma, other things. So here he says Tawfīq is a lutf, is a grace from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by which you can do ta'ah, you can perform acts of obedience. So now what I want to say is that Tawfīq, in this sense that everything comes together, somehow, not 100%, is also in your hand. In the sense that it's not arbitrary. It's not that someone gets Tawfīq, someone doesn't get Tawfīq in equal circumstances. It's not like that. Tawfīq is not arbitrary. Although Tawfīq comes from Allah and it's about those things which are beyond your capacity, but you have a role in getting Tawfīq or losing Tawfīq. Before I move to explaining this, I have written also definition of Tawfīq from Majmaʿ al-Baḥrayn. I like you to also take a note of this. You know, one of very good dictionaries that we use in Hawza is Majmaʿ al-Baḥrayn. It is for the words which are used in Quran and Hadith. He gives definition, mentions also the verses or hadith in which this is used. It's a good book by Turayhi. He says, وَفَّقَكَ اللَّهُ تَوْفِيقًا. This is the way it is used. وَالتَّوْفِيقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ defines it. توجيه الأسباب نحو مطلوب الخير. توجيه الأسباب نحو مطلوب الخير. It's very good and brief definition. توجيه means to direct, to give orientation. From which? توجيه الأسباب means to direct causes towards the good which is pursued, thought. We are seeking something good. If these all are directed towards that, this is called Tawfīq. everything comes together. This is called Tawfīq. Okay? So this is a good definition. Now, let's go to the main point, that Tawfīq is not arbitrary. There are factors that lead to having Tawfīq. There are factors that lead to losing Tawfīq. In addition to not bringing factors of Tawfīq, there are factors that may block Tawfīq. I don't know if it's clear for you. Many things are like this. You know, there are things that can increase your risk, but if you don't bring them, your risk doesn't increase, but risk is not blocked. But there are things that blocks the risk. So there are three conditions. Either you bring things that widen your risk, or you bring something that narrows your risk, or you just don't do anything. That depends on other factors. Okay? For example, I am a person who does silaya rahim. And I don't have anything to damage this, because sometimes you do something good, then you do also something bad. You are very good to some relatives and very bad to other relatives, for example. No. But suppose everything is okay, but you have something very positive. You are a person who is very committed to silay rahim. This silay rahim can cause good rizq. Sometimes you don't have that much commitment to silay rahim. You are just ordinary. It's not that you are known and identified as a person who is committed to silay rahim. And you do nothing special. Okay, so you don't have that reason for increasing risk. But sometimes you do qat' rahim. Many of us may not be really considered as people who do silay rahim, but still we may not be considered as qati' rahim. It's not that we have disconnected totally, but we are just careless or lazy. So there are three conditions: silay rahim, qati' rahim in between. Okay? Sometimes you do something that makes your dua accepted very fast, for example. Sometimes you do something that blocks your dua. Sometimes you don't do anything of these two extreme. Then it's dependent on other factors. Okay? So, if I am not doing silay rahim, and I'm not doing qati' rahim, I am just in between, but my mother prays for me a lot. This can help me. It can compensate not having silay rahim, because this is another factor. Okay? But if I'm doing qati' rahim and my mother also prays for me, it may not get result, because I have done something that I have blocked. Of course, Allah would know how to calculate these things, but everything is important. All these factors are important. So, for Tawfīq, we have things that increase our Tawfīq. We have things that reduce or stop Tawfīq. If you don't have those things that increase, at least you have to make sure you don't bring those things that reduce or stop. Unfortunately, many times we do things that reduce our Tawfīq or stop our Tawfīq. I mentioned one hadith from Imam Jawad alayhi salam, and then start talking about these factors. Maybe we don't finish it this week, inshallah, if we have Tawfīq, we continue next week. Because I think it's a very important discussion. But I want to get blessing from this hadith, which is very famous hadith from Imam Jawad alayhi salam. Al-Mu'minu yahtaju ila thalath khisal. So that you understand this is not a minor issue. It's a very serious and fundamental issue. Mu'min needs three things. Al-Mu'minu yahtaju ila thalath khisal. Question. For what? For what you need three things? No, how do you understand? If you are given such a sentence, how do you analyze it? Yes. You assume a mu'min needs three things to be a mu'min. So it means mu'min, for being mu'min and for strengthening his iman, needs three things. Yes? Al-mu'minu. If I tell you a student needs three things, what do you understand? For his study. Yeah. If I say a mother needs three things, means in performing her duty as a mother. Yeah. Maybe she needs many other things for other reasons. Al-mu'minu yahtaju ila thalath khisal means it's something very much related to iman. If you want to be mu'min and function as mu'min and remain as mu'min, and if you want to iman increase, you need three things. Otherwise your iman is in danger. First, Tawfīq min Allah. This is the first thing. Second, وَوَاعِذٍ min nafsih. Third, وَقَبُولٍ مِمَّنْ يَنْصَحُهُ. Very comprehensive, brief but comprehensive. First, Tawfīq min Allah. You need Tawfīq from Allah. Because Tawfīq is only from Allah. Ma Tawfīq illa billah. Second, you should have a preacher. Wa'idh. The one who gives you maw'idha. Wa'adh. Yeah? Preach. Someone who preaches you, but not external preacher. Internal. If you go to the best majalis and you go to best Akhlaq lectures, it would not work unless you have a preacher inside. The one who is on member or gives maw'izah, gives his maw'izah and leaves. But the one who is inside is all the time with you. He knows your intention. He knows your performance. He knows what you do in private. He knows everything about you. وَاعِذٍ مِّن نَفْسِهِ. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given everyone a very good wa'iz. Everyone has been given good wa'iz inside. Everyone. That's your conscience. That's your heart. But many of us have ignored that wa'iz. Many of us have silenced that wa'iz. And maybe many of us have corrupted that wa'iz. We have so much bribed that wa'iz. You know, there are people that find good bad and find bad good. If they do something good, they feel terrible. And if they do something bad, they enjoy. It means that that wa'iz also has become corrupt. Of course, I am just saying in a humorous sense. Qalb is changeable. It can change. So either you can say that wa'iz is corrupted, we can say that wise is imprisoned. So that wise is very, very important. And my suggestion for all of us, not for you only, if still when you do something bad, you feel bad. If when you are not sincere, if you are not honest, if you are not good, if you are greedy, whatever, if you feel bad, alhamdulillah, it shows that still something has remained from that wise. Listen to that wise. Work on this, let it become fully functional. And if, na'udhu billah, you are not getting any blame internally, and you are always happy with what you do, that wise is dead. And no one can change you. No one. Even Ma'soom cannot change you. So before it gets too late, we should listen to that wise, revive that wise. We should do lots of istighfar and tawbah so that inshallah we can get some kind of help. Then وَقَبُولٍ مِّمَّنْ يَنْصَحُهُ. You cannot understand everything by yourself. That wise is very important, but that wise doesn't know everything. Yeah? That wise is just someone that knows major things, knows everything about you, but is not a mujtahid, is not a faqih, is not expert in everything. You need also external sources for guidance. Yeah? You cannot rely only on that internal preacher. That internal preacher mostly reminds you, but you not need someone who gives you extra information. So, when people outside give you nasiha, give you advice, you should accept. Okay? So you need three things. Tawfīq, internal preacher, and acceptance of advice coming from people who have expertise. Expertise in any field that you seek guidance. So you see, Tawfīq is very, very important. Even we have in some hadith the idea that Tawfīq is one of the best things that come from heaven. For example, there is a hadith which says, لا قائد كالتوفيق. Qa'id, leader. You might remember we had this before. We said in Arabic they have two terms, sa'iq and qa'id. Yes? What's the difference between sa'iq and qa'id? Nowadays they say qa'id leader, sa'iq driver. But originally, yeah. Yeah, but originally, you know, exactly. When they had camels, so you have suppose 10, 20 camels. If the one who looks after these camels stays in front of this row, he is called qa'id. If from behind he pushes them, it's sa'iq. Sawq means to push. So qaid is the one who is followed. Shaykh is the one who is from behind pushing. Okay? This is the original meaning of qaid and shaykh. But in both cases, it's this person who is guiding these camels, but depending on the location and the way he is leading. So hadith says, unfortunately I don't have the details, I can give you next week or you can search. La qaida kat Tawfīq. There is no, you can say, leader or nothing that can move you and lead you like Tawfīq. Tawfīq is very good. One of ulama said something very interesting about Tawfīq. There are many stories about Tawfīq. He said once Imam Khomeini, rahmatullah alayh, made a verdict, and some people advised me that you also, as a talabi, as a scholar, you should also do some research to support the verdict of Imam Khomeini. He says, I made some contacts with some scholars, but at that time they didn't have that much to offer. So to begin my research, I found some scholars, and those we contacted, they didn't have that much information that where I should find, some reference, whatever. So he said, then I prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I said, I want to do some research to support the verdict of Imam Khomeini and to protect the honor of your Prophet. So, he says, after that, I went to library, and like istikhara, I took books and opened. Was exactly about that issue. I took another book, like istikhara, open. So it's a few books. This is Tawfīq. And I also have example, but I didn't pray that much. When I came, of course, maybe I prayed in general, but not that particular moment. When I came here in 96, I came to start my PhD. So I went to Blackwell's in Sheffield. I was admitted for English program, University of Sheffield, and still I had not completed my admission for PhD. So I was thinking about the topic, and then I decided to work on ethical relativism. And I went to Blackwell's and went to the section on philosophy and found a book on ethical relativism. And that book clarified for me what topic I should choose. And two people that I worked on them, Gilbert Harman and David Wong. If I had missed that book, my PhD was on something else. Maybe on ethical relativism, maybe something else, but even if it was ethical relativism, it was not the same thing. Until end of my PhD, I was thinking of that book was very important. So, sometimes something happens that opens for you horizons. La qaida kat Tawfīq. I am sure in your life you can find lots of examples. Another hadith says, أَجَلُّ مَا يَنزِلُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ التَّوْفِيقِ. The greatest thing that comes from heaven is Tawfiq. So it's not something minor. It's very, very important. Tawfiq. In dua of Imam Zaman, we say, Allahumma rzuqna tawfiq at-ta'ah wa bu'd al-ma'siyah. We want to have tawfiq wa ta'ah, and we want ma'siyah to be distanced from us. Or for example, we say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَفِّقْنِي لِلَّتِي هِيَ أَزْكَى. I think it's in Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. Give me tawfiq for the path which is the purest path. Or for example, we say to Allah, give us tawfiq لما وفقت له محمدا وآل محمد. So, tawfiq is very, very important. Inshallah, unfortunately time is over. I wanted to mention some of the factors, but inshallah we can do it next week. Inshallah, what we will do, we mention based on the Quran and Hadith, first, Asbab al-Tawfiq. And then, inshallah, after that, we talk about factors that stop Tawfiq. What can stop Tawfiq? May Allah, inshallah, help us to have only those things that increase Tawfiq, inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.